Are you in the process of researching a possible move to Spruce Grove, Alberta? Well, if you are, I'm willing to bet that one of the very first questions you're hoping to have answered is, what are the good areas or neighborhoods that you should consider? In my last video, we did a full virtual tour of Spruce Grove, and I promised that we would take a closer and more in-depth look at the specific neighborhoods, what they're like, what they have to offer. And this is definitely info that you can't get by searching Google Maps. So we're gonna jump into that. I'm also going to let you in on what I think the top neighborhoods in the city are and why. I was talking to one of the local builders yesterday, and I mentioned that this neighborhood video that I actually made a few years ago where I gave my top 3 neighborhoods. And at that time, there were just over 36,000 people living in the city. This year, we have just surpassed 41,000 residents, so the word is definitely out. There is a buzz around Spruce Grove, and it's been very exciting to watch. So, why the buzz? Well, the first thing that catches buyers' attention is obviously the affordable housing, because the average single-family home in Spruce Grove can be up to $50,000 less than the equivalent house in Edmonton. But when buyers dig deeper and they do their research on Spruce, they find out that we're very self-contained in terms of amenities. We're safe, family-friendly, and obviously growing. So, which neighborhood could be right for you? Let's get into it and start with a detailed lay of the land. In the north part of Spruce Grove, we find a mix of older, well-established communities, as well as new neighborhoods that are still kind of being built up. So homes built basically anywhere from the 80s and 90s up until now. We have some beautiful mature neighborhoods here like Linkside, Fieldstone, Stoneshire, where you can find some very high-end properties with larger lots and mature trees. Many of these are backing onto the links, which is the golf course here in Spruce Grove. There's also some adult living duplex-style properties in there as well, but the majority of the housing in that area is going to be single-family detached homes with front attached garages. In the north, we also find Hill Downs, Aspen Glen, Jesperdale, and Deer Park. All of these neighborhoods have, again, both older and newer homes, and some very brand new construction as well. In Hill Downs, Aspen Glen, and Jesperdale, you're going to find a combination of single-family homes of all sizes with both attached and detached garages, as well as lots of half-duplex properties in there as well. Deer Park is a combination of slightly older homes as well as new construction, and this area is also pretty much higher end overall. The biggest draw and feature on the north side of Spruce Grove obviously is the Links Golf Course. There's also some beautiful parks, trails, storm ponds. It's generally a lovely area to drive through. And if you're visiting the city, drive north on Callahoo Road, take your first right at the traffic circle, and cruise down Longview Drive. It's quite pretty, especially in the summertime, of course. Now let's go west. To keep it pretty simple, I'm going to call West Spruce Grove everything that's west of Jennifer Heil. So on the west side, we have Harvest Ridge, Copperhaven, Spruce Ridge, and Legacy Park. Harvest Ridge and Spruce Ridge are actually in the top 3 for the most highly populated neighborhoods in Spruce Grove, according to the census they did in 2023. In Harvest Ridge, there's no apartment-style condo buildings, so it's all low to medium density housing in that subdivision, whereas in Spruce Ridge, we have a handful of condo buildings as well as low to medium density areas, so more of a mix, and that's the main factor which makes the population higher in that neighborhood. The condo buildings are actually quite thoughtfully built close to the Tri-Leisure Center and Jennifer Heil Way, so they're super walkable to amenities, so a great location for the residents of those buildings. On the west side of town, we also have an exciting new development coming called Creekside Commons, and it's slated to be over 20 acres, a commercial retail complex with over 200,000 square feet of leasable building space. It'll be very exciting to watch the construction on that happen and see what retailers pop up there. Next, let's take a look at the east side of Spruce Grove, home to Greenbury, Prescott, Kenton, Spruce Village, Grove Meadows, Lakewood, Fenwick, Easton, and Tonewood. Say that 5 times fast. The east side of the city has a combination of both residential and commercial areas, so quick access to shopping and amenities. The eastern side of Spruce Grove is also expanding the quickest, and it makes the most sense because residents in this area have the quickest access into Edmonton, and they also don't have to cut through the city on their commute into Edmonton, which makes this location super appealing and convenient for the residents that live here and work there, which many of them do. The extension of Pioneer Road in recent years has made navigating the commute even easier for these people, and eventually Pioneer Road is actually going to be extended north to connect with Highway 16. There are 3 major developments coming into the east side of Spruce Grove, which are the Civic Center, the Transit Center, and MyShack Metro Ballpark. So the Civic Center will include a spectator arena, community arena, gallery, library, and a black box theater. The Transit Center will be located right next door to that, and those are both on the northeast side of town, right in Westwood in that area. The ballpark is going to be located in Easton and will offer a microbrewery, amphitheater, outdoor amphitheater, and a condo development. And we already have some major retail established on both the north and southeast side of the city, in Westwood, as I mentioned, and also in Century Crossing, where you can find restaurants, larger big box stores like Winners, Michaels, and Sport Chek. Greenbury stands out because of its brownstone-inspired architecture, and also it has like an eco-friendly concept. Right next to Greenbury is Spruce Village and Jubilee Park, which has a spray park, playground. It's ideal for families, lots of paths and stuff in there. And the newest neighborhoods that are currently under construction are Fenwick, Prescott, and Easton. Second newest to that would be Greenbury and Tonewood, and then Lakewood and Grove Meadows are the oldest and most central neighborhoods on the east side. Grove Meadows actually has homes as old as the 1970s when they were constructed. And there's still some acreage properties as well on that side of the city that butt up against the new development. So it's going to be very interesting to watch them as the city sprawls out eastward. We got a lot going on the east side. Central Spruce Grove. So this area encompasses neighborhoods like Brookwood, Broxton Park, City Center, Millgrove, etc. Central Spruce has a mix of homes, schools, parks, shopping options, and both old and new neighborhoods. So Woodhaven, Millgrove, Brookwood, and Broxton Park are the most well-established communities in Spruce Grove, and they offer larger lots, mature trees. The majority of the schools are located kind of more central, including Brookwood, Broxton Park, Woodhaven Middle School, Spruce Grove Composite High School, and the 2 Catholic schools. So those are all in the older neighborhoods of the city, so most walkable to the highest number of schools. Parks like Brookwood Park provide plenty of green space for families to enjoy these neighborhoods, and they also all connect to Heritage Grove Park. Heritage Grove Park is very unique as it's located smack dab in the middle of Spruce Grove, and it offers 40 kilometers of walking trails, playgrounds, and even a dog park. Looking to the west a bit here, you'll find Heather Glen, McLaughlin, and West Grove. So West Grove is also an older neighborhood, very conveniently located nearby shopping and amenities. Then you have McLaughlin, the newest neighborhood in Central Spruce Grove, a chunk of which is still actually under construction. Finally, the downtown business core, City Center. City Center has shops, cafes, restaurants, the local businesses. It also offers housing options ranging from condos to townhouses to single-family detached homes. It's the least cookie-cutter type of area in the city in terms of residential housing. And living there means you're within walking distance of essential amenities like the Queen Street Medical Center and downtown McLeod Drive, and various types of shopping and services. All right, now we're going to get into the top neighborhoods. But before we dive into that, let's talk for a moment about what makes a neighborhood great. Here are the top factors that I consider. So, number one, lifestyle. So, how walkable is the neighborhood? Are you close to parks, green spaces, entertainment, shopping and dining? So, that's lifestyle. Two is pride of ownership. So you can't really control who your neighbors are, but when you explore the neighborhood, is it pretty well kept? I would say, as a general rule of thumb, people that take care of their homes have a pretty quiet lifestyle and make good neighbors overall. So buying a home in a neighborhood surrounded by other responsible homeowners will bode well for you down the line, especially when you decide to sell. Number three is accessibility. How close are the major access roads, parks, walking trails, schools, grocery stores, shopping, etc.? And then number four is safety. So is the neighborhood low on crime? Is there a busy street nearby or public transportation? If you're shopping for a home in the spring or summer, are there lots of neighbors out walking their dogs and riding their bikes through the area? If there are, that's usually a good sign because we're all cooped up in the winter in Alberta. So when the sun is out, people are typically outside as well. Drum roll, please. So what are my top neighborhoods? Starting with number three, I'm going to give it to Millgrove because it's quiet. Because of how it's laid out, there's not a lot of through traffic. It's close to schools and amenities, and all of the homes are older, so this means large lots, many of which actually back directly onto Heritage Grove Park. Because these homes are older, a lot of them could use some updating, but there's huge potential in this neighborhood to buy an older bungalow, for instance, that backs onto the trees, and then you could renovate it into something absolutely wonderful with a big backyard that has lots of privacy. Number two, Greenbury. So Greenbury is known for its curb appeal with that classic brownstone style I mentioned earlier. The curb appeal is an excellent factor as well there for resale value because those houses typically will sell higher than other areas of Spruce Grove. Sustainability was a key focus in the development of that neighborhood, so they've incorporated things like wind power, bioswales, natural wetlands even. And it's located on the far east side of Spruce Grove, so it's ideal for families with close proximity to Prescott Learning Center, Jubilee Park, which has, like I mentioned, a lot of great stuff for the family. It's closer to Edmonton, and like I mentioned earlier, the recent addition of Pioneer Road provides very quick access into Edmonton, has made it a great choice for commuters. Finally, number one, McLaughlin. As I mentioned, McLaughlin is a new neighborhood as well. There are a lot of homes still being constructed in McLaughlin Heights that back directly onto Heritage Grove Park trail system, and that's why I think it's so special. It's also close and walkable to shopping and amenities like the Tri-Leisure Center. Looking at the map, it seems sort of strange to think that McLaughlin is newer since it's in the central part of Spruce Grove, especially because there's older construction sort of all around it. And that's because this neighborhood is built on former farmland that was more recently acquired by the developer Melcor. So one of the things that makes McLaughlin special is that you can buy a brand new or newish house, still be walkable to amenities since it's so centrally located in town. We also have a heritage home called the McLaughlin Nelson House that was built in 1912 that you can walk by as you take that new path into the trail system just off McLaughlin Heights. So it's very cool to have an age span of over 100 years between that property and its direct neighbors. In conclusion, the best thing about Spruce Grove is that you really can't go wrong with any area. It's all safe, all family friendly, all convenient all day long. So which part of Spruce Grove do you see yourself living in? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're thinking about moving to Spruce Grove, I would love to hear from you. I can answer any questions that you might have about the city and hopefully help make your transition to our wonderful community go a little bit smoother. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.